it's Vanessa the Crafty Gemini. I post weekly crafting, cooking, and organic gardening videos right here on my YouTube channel. In this video tutorial, I'm teaching you how to make a pillow sham. Now for this video tutorial, I've teamed up with lowpricefabric.com, who've been kind enough to offer me up the fabrics that you'll see me use to create this project for you guys, and they've also been generous enough to offer up a fabric giveaway. One of you lucky viewers out there is going to walk away with 2.5 yards of any of their quilting cottons that they currently have available on their website right now. Check them out at lowpricefabric.com, and make sure that you watch the rest of this video tutorial so you can learn all the details on how to enter that giveaway. Now let's jump right into our project so I can teach you how to make this super easy pillow sham. So we begin with the pillow that we'll be using to fill this pillow sham with, okay? I'm doing it this way so I can teach you how to take the measurements so you can recreate this type of pillow sham for any size pillow you have at home. Mine, we started off taking the lengthwise measurement, which is 26 inches, and then I took the width, and it was 20 inches. 26 by 20 is the size of my pillow, which typically is the size of a standard pillowcase here in the United States. Now let's figure out what pieces we need to cut for the sham. For the front, let's take the length measurement. We add 1 inch for seam allowance, and then 4 inches for the 2-inch frame out that we're going to get on the sham, for a total of 31 inches. For the width measurement, we're adding the 1 inch for seam allowance, and again 4 inches for that 2-inch frame out that we're going to get on top and bottom. So the front piece should measure 31 inches by 25. Now for the back piece, it's a little different. We're going to take the 26-inch measurement. We added the 1 inch for seam allowance, the 4 inch for the frame out, just like we did on the front. But then to that, we need the envelope closure, so we need some extra so we can have that flap on the back that overlaps. And to that, we added 4 inches to get a total of 35 inches for the length. For the width, it should measure exactly the same as the front because the closure is only going to overlap on one of the dimensions. So keep that width measurement the same, meaning the back piece should measure 35 inches by 25 inches. And now let me show you how I cut those pieces out of my pretty fabric. So I have my fabric the way it came off the bolt, and I folded it up in half lengthwise just because it's going to be a little easier for me to reach and cut across it with my rulers. I'm trimming off a little bit off the edge here just so I make sure I'm starting off with that clean edge. And now we're going to cut our measurements that we need. And I'm just going to cut 25 inches this way. I've lined up the edge of my fabric over there where you see the starch bottle. That edge is at the 0 of my cutting mat. And then I measured on the cutting mat to 25 inches and cut right there. You're going to repeat the process because I'm cutting along the width measurement, and my width for both the front and the back pieces should measure the same, okay? So again, I'm lining it up at the 0 line on my cutting mat. Try to get it as straight as you can. Go down to the 25-inch mark, and I'm just going to cut off another chunk. So right now, this piece should measure 25 inches by whatever the width of the fabric is, right? Which is more than what I need because I need 31 inches and I need 35 inches. So let's open this up a little bit here. And now I'm going to go back and cut in the opposite direction. You see how wide it is? If I open it, this is the width of the fabric. So I have the selvages right here on my right side. And now I'm going to go back and cut the 35 inches. So since it's doubled up, notice I have folds right there. It's going to be cut in half, or the number is going to be divided in half, right? So you can see my ruler's put down there at the 17.5-inch mark. And the reason I did that is because 17.5 is half of the 35 inches that I need. And because the fabric is doubled up or folded in half, right, when I open this up now, I have the 35-inch length that I need. So this piece should measure 25 inches by 35. I'm going to set that aside. That's my back piece that I just did. Now let's cut our front piece. Again, I have the 25 inches already cut because that's the first cut I made off the yardage. And now I need to go back and cut 31 inches. So again, I'm going to fold it that way, making sure I have those folds to my left side. And now to get the 31 inches that I need to go half because again it's doubled, and half of 31 is 15.5. So that you can see that that's where my ruler is lined up at the 15.5-inch mark. And then this is where I need to cut. So I'm going to bump up another ruler so I can get the full length that I need to cut. At this point, I like to spray my fabric pieces with some spray starch and hit it with a nice hot iron till everything is nice and flat. Now there's still one more thing that we need to cut, and that is our back panel, okay? This is the one that's the longer on the lengthwise. In my case, it's the 35-inch by 25 inches. I folded it in half lengthwise just to make it easier for myself, and I need to split it right down the middle, which you can see my ruler's lining up at the 17.5-inch mark on the side there on the left, and that's because half of 35 is 17.5. And I'm cutting it in half because we need 2 separate panels so we can get that envelope closure on the back of the pillow sham. Now take your two back panels and do not move them around like turning the orientation of it, because you will get confused, okay? You want to make sure that you're going to be hemming the appropriate side. So keep them in the same orientation of just how you cut them. And this inside edge here, okay, on the left side is the one that I'm going to be hemming. So I'm turning it towards the ugly side of the fabric, about 1/4 of an inch, and pressing it in place. And then we're going to do that again. So refold it on itself to make a simple hem there, and fold it 1/4 of an inch once and 1/4 of an inch twice. You're going to repeat that to both of those inside edges of your back panel pieces. Now let's start layering our pillow sham together. Here's my front panel. I have it in front of me lengthwise. Grab one of the back panels and you're going to put it with the pretty side of the fabric facing down, and the little side that we hemmed, you want it going down the center middle, okay, of the back. Pretty side to pretty side, and then line up the raw edges all the way around it. Grab the second panel, same thing. The little hem should be towards the inside center part, and pretty side to pretty side of the fabric, again matching up the raw edges all around. You can see the overlap that we're going to have right here for the closure of our sham. So here's an example on another pillow sham I made. The envelope closure on the back here is just enough to cover this pillow. If you have a really fluffy pillow, you're going to have to add more than the 4 inches to the additional length and just make the overlap longer, okay? Now we can just place pins all the way around our pillow sham, and we're going to take this to our sewing machine so we can stitch it all up using a straight stitch and just 1/2 of an inch seam allowance all the way around. After that, you need to trim away the excess from your corners so we can reduce that bulk and we get nice pointy corners when we flip it all out. I also like to go back and trim away any excess seam allowance because I just want a cleaner finish. Now I'll go back to my sewing machine and just use a zigzag stitch and stitch all the way around this. It's a little time consuming. If you had a serger, you can do it all at the same time. But if you have a sewing machine, you can do it like I did. Then turn your entire pillow sham inside out. And here comes the most important part, is pressing this thing. You want to press it all the way flat as you can get it. Now flip it over, and I like to pin the overlap shut just so I make sure that nothing moves on me when I go to trace my lines and stitch them down. Now we're going to create this little 2-inch frame out that we have around the entire pillow sham. It's real simple to do. Just grab your ruler, measure 2 inches in from all 4 of the outer edges on your pillow sham, and use a fabric safe marking device. I like to use friction pens, which completely disappear when you hit them with a hot iron. So measure it all the way around your entire pillow sham, your frame. Once that's done, you can see I have the entire frame here. It's real simple. Go to your sewing machine, stitch with a straight stitch right on the line that you drew, and then you can take it over to your pressing surface and it's going to totally disappear with the hot iron. I'll show you again in slow motion because these pens are super cool. I love to use them for all my craft projects. And that's it. My pillow sham is done. I can stuff my pillow inside of it, and there it is. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. If you did, go ahead and hit it with that thumbs up below, share it across the different social media sites, and don't forget to click that subscribe button right there so you won't miss out on any of my future video tutorials or giveaways. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.